Pahrump Nugget, progressive cash drawings, mystery point multipliers, mystery gift days, extra cash for 4 of a kinds, bingo, bowling, football, and food specials. Looking for constant action? Look no further. Pahrump Nugget Hotel and Casino.
Well, so many Americans can relate to this story. With the housing and banking crisis, who would have thought that congressional candidate Danny Tarkanian also has to fight the bank and the FDIC? He thought this lawsuit was taken care of a while ago, but the bank shut down. He has now a $17 million judgment against him and his family. We're going to speak to congressional candidate Danny Tarkanian.
Well, this has been going on for 4 years. My family and I invested money with the developer. He wanted to develop some property in Southern California. He arranged for a bank, which he was close with, to lend us money on some property we had here in Las Vegas. And instead of using that money to develop the property in Southern California, the developer used it for some other purposes, including paying back a loan he had with the bank that lent us the money. The developer then went bankrupt, so we ended up suing the bank for fraud. We believe the bank was involved in that fraudulent act. The lower court must have at least agreed with us because they issued an injunction preventing the bank from foreclosing on our land. And then the FDIC comes in and closes the bank down, making a lot of the same allegations that we made against the bank in our lawsuit. So we think, wow, even the FDIC, the federal government, agrees with us and we're going to be okay. Well, then the federal government comes after us and not only sells our property, but now is coming after us personally. We sued to stop that, and we claim that the FDIC is responsible for what the bank's actions were, and we used, again, fraud as our defense. And if you can believe this, there's a federal statute out there that says you can't allege fraud against the FDIC, even if you had that fraud against the bank. I mean, I think that's completely not only unreasonable and wrong, but I think it's unconstitutional, and that's what our defense has been. This is, what we're seeing is another example of the problems we're having in our banking institution around the country. Millions of Americans, thousands here in Nevada, have faced other type of unscrupulous actions from banks. And like my family, many of them are losing their life savings over these things. And I hope when I get back to Washington, D.C., I can do some things to make these changes and do what we're supposed to do, and that's support the people of our country, the constituents of our country, not big banking monopolies.
I was going to ask you about that. There's so many stories about homeowners and people and what the banks have done to them, and it really brings you down to what so many people have experienced in this, and that's dealing with the banking industry, dealing with what's going on, dealing with a bank that actually folded, and so many people have dealt with that themselves too as well.
Yeah, I mean, each person has their own unique story. I can just say with respect to the bank we were involved in, I'm sure there were probably hundreds, if not thousands, of other people that may have experienced the same type of problems or similar problems, but because the bank was taken over by the federal government, they don't have any recourse. And that just isn't fair. That's not American.
Is there anything that can be done at this point?
Well, yeah, we've appealed this to the Ninth Circuit Court, and we're going to ask to have that statute thrown out and allow us to have our day in court to explain to the jurors the fraudulent actions that happened, and hopefully we'll be successful.
It's not only against you, it's against your mom, who's a councilwoman there in Las Vegas too as well, and other associates of yours. Yeah, my family, and then there are some other friends of ours that were involved with the land that we owned in Las Vegas. It is very unfortunate. I particularly, for my mother and father, I feel so bad for them at their age in their lives to have to go through this. Well, the timing could have been better for congressional candidate Danny Tarkanian. If you would like to find out more about his campaign, you can go to tark2012.com. This is Deanna O'Donnell for News 46.